Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we have your bonus weekly replay video. Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't really big fans of replays, which is why I usually only do one, maybe two a week, with of course the second one being uploaded on Sunday, which is kind of my bonus video day anyway, right? But you may want to stick around for this one, because if the email that was attached to this replay lives up to it, you are about to witness quite literally the single best Dunkirk game in the world. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, Sealer, this is a Dunkirk B. Yes, it is, but it's the same ship, and the claimed score of this match does beat out every single other Dunkirk score by quite a bit. So you, again, are literally possibly about to watch the single best Dunkirk game in the world at this moment, at the time of recording, after Battleship 61, who's our driver here, stops lagging out. But yes, that is the claim that Battleship 61 has made with this replay submission, so we're going to sit here and watch it together. Now, granted, there's a pretty good chance that that if this video makes it onto the channel, that's probably well, the case here, because I wouldn't upload it otherwise, right, if it makes that big of a claim and nothing comes of it. But anyway, let's see if he does indeed do that. So, Dunkirk B, you notice here, may not be looking too, well, black. Well, it's because, like with all the black ships, the Dunkirk B is simply the Dunkirk underneath. Now, what is a Dunkirk? A Dunkirk is a pretty neat little French battleship that I, and a minority of people, do very much enjoy. She's a real still historical ship, so that's always a big bonus. And she is a pretty unique little Tier 6 battleship, because most Tier 6 battleships, especially when the Dunkirk first came out, they were, those big, lumbering, dreadnought-style battleships that were slow and might have started to get into some of the bigger caliber guns, right? But they were all, like World War I, maybe early World War II era battleships, so they weren't all that maneuverable and fast. The Dunkirk, on the other hand, has smaller guns, less armor, but she's greatly more maneuverable than those other Tier 7 battleships. And we get a little bit of, well, not the best accuracy on the main battery guns, but when they do connect, they do that. Double Citadel to the Isabel. Yeah, this is where we got our first taste of French battleship AP. The Dunkirk came out long before the rest of the French battleship line, and man, the AP shells on the Dunkirk are quite spicy. She has, I do believe, 330mm guns. Yes, 330mm guns. I do love the ship, but unfortunately I haven't had time to play here recently. I probably will after this match. Oh my god, another broadside ship. Oh, okay, about to say. Does get one Citadel there with overpinning the rest of the shells on the Aoba. But that is a frustration of the Dunkirk, and of course, with a lot of other battleships. The shells are a little bit too good at penetrating armor. They tend to just overpin everything, right? So even if you have broadside ships, even broadside battleships at Tier 6, you'll be getting a lot of overpins in the Dunkirk, unless you have good aim and manage to hit them right on their belt armor, like Battleship 61 did manage to do there. So you got 4 pins off of that Dunkirk B. What else about the Dunkirk? Well, you get those, 4 guns and the, well, we see as kind of traditional French battleship setup, because we have the Jean Bart, the Richelieu, the Dunkirk, and her sister ship, whose name is escaping me right now, though I should really know, Strasbourg, in this configuration. Get some nice pins on the stern of that Dunkirk as well. But this is, again, another really wonky thing about the Dunkirk when she was first released back in the day. Both turrets are in the front with all the guns, so it's a very weird setup for a battleship. Ooh, we have a Charners 43 absolutely ripping and rolling to the cap to try and contest the cap with an Akatsuki in there. I do not think that's going to go too well for him. But if you look out east, oh my god, everyone and their mom wants to go up the channel by sea for some reason. I mean, that's a real party over there. So enemy team is definitely heavy in the east. Friendly team is kind of equally spread out, which is probably not going to be too good for the eastern fellas. Oh, speaking of not being too good, Charners 43 coming right around the corner, right into those Akatsuki torps. He ate a couple of torps with that first salvo, and oh, there he goes. Battleship 61 secures his kill for the first blood of the match. So, yeah, I don't know what Sean's 43 was thinking there. I mean, that is kind of unfortunately your average Sean's 43 player there. You know, brain turned off, full W key, secondaries blazing, but he, you know, maybe not into a smoke. It definitely not within the first 5 minutes of the game. Alright, so that frees up some space for Battleship 61 to go ahead and push forward into the other Dunkirk B, who, ooh, he almost takes out right then and there. So a big thing about the Dunkirk is that her guns can be incredibly frustrating at times because, well, they aren't all that accurate, especially by Tier 6 Battleship standards, which is saying a lot, right? As you guys have been seeing, even his best salvos, he's still been putting like half the shells in the water here. Oh, man. And yeah, there you go. Again, when you do get hits, they tend to be overpins because of how good the penetration properties are on the Dunkirk shells. So you miss a lot of shells. The shells that hit are overpins, very frustrating, and they are small by tier 6 standards. So you don't really have, you know, kind of the hammer you get with other battleships. I mean, look at that dispersion. That'd be really fun. This kills them. Okay, there we go. It did it. Yeah, but yeah, think about like the on New Mexico, you get it 14-inch guns on the German line. You get 15-inch guns at tier 6. So yeah, you know, it's pretty small for the tier. Tufon there burns down the friendly Mayoko. So we're pushing into an Isabel. Oh man, the Isabel didn't learn the first time right about the broadsides. I mean, the Isabel is one of the easiest Soviet battleships to penetrate the Citadel armor on. And, you know, that is... Okay, let's see. Just like that, double Citadel gets the kill there. Man, you gotta learn somewhere, right? Like the other Soviet battleships, you can definitely get into their Citadel fairly easily if you catch them flat broadside. But it's usually a thin little strip, right? With the Isabel, it's just the entire side of the ship is the Citadel. So you gotta be careful to not do what that Isabel did. So, you can call me Nostradamus because my predictions came true. It's not gone well for the team out east. They have lost the cap. A couple of them have been sunk already. Oh, there goes another one. Actually, that was the Dunkirk in the middle who was trying to rush the Serov. But the enemy team have secured the cap. Looks like the Grom and the other Scharnhorst 43 on the enemy team is playing Ring Around the Rosie. So this is a Tier 6 game that has kind of... Well, it's actually Tier 7 games. Tier 6, Tier 7 game with kind of favorable matchmaking. You do have CVs in the match, but you don't have any submarines. And thank God you don't have a double sub, double CV game, as is so common. Oof, overpins there on the Aoba. See what I mean? So it can be incredibly frustrating at times. I play the Dunkirk as just very angry. You know, get close, and, you know, if you get close enough, dispersion doesn't really matter all that much. Alright, looks like Battleship 61 is going to make the turn around the island and go for the Serov. Ooh, blind fire on the Aoba. God, look at that dispersion on the blind. This is going to be the one that kills him, isn't it? Come on. Okay, no, it's not. That would have been hilarious if it was. But yeah, man, look at that dispersion. Alright, Serov. So who's he going to go for? Is he going to finish off the Aoba, or is he going to go for the Serov? The smart move would be to finish off the Aoba because you don't want a, you know, Japanese cruiser on your flank just having a free time, right? But the Leningrad takes out the Grom, so now they're down to their last DD. Alright, gets another shot out on the Aoba. This looks pretty good. Should be a dead Aoba. Nope, 3 overpins. There you go once again. No armor, best armor. It's so true about this game. As far as the teams go, scores are pretty close. Kills are also pretty close too. Both sides are down 4. So Aoba is going to go down here. Yep, to that Pensacola shells. Alright, friendly team has the points advantage for the time being. The Serov, I'm assuming, is running for his friggin' life. We're about to have a nice little clash here between the green and red teams over the B cap. So you have a King George pushing up north into a Scharnhorst and a West Virginia 41. Looks like a lot of their tonnage is coming through that central channel into the D cap. Ooh, Serov. So let's see. He aimed right a little bit above the stern, which is smart because he's probably not going to get through that deck armor. And there you go. Citadel up the stern of the Serov. But the Serov is running at full speed away. He might be able to catch him in the Dunkirk, or he's going to get spotted again by the Akatsuki. Very helpful teammate there. Alright, AA on the Dunkirk is not great, but I mean, at Tier 6, which battleship does have good AA. I catches the broadside of the Serov here. Let's see, is he going to get a glory shot? He's turning hard over. Yes! There you go. That is his 3rd kill of the match before the 10-minute mark. He's setting a pretty good pace right here. He's at 138,000 damage so far. So let's see what happens here in the middle. Okay, Sean's 43 is pretty low. Their Akatsuki is also pretty low. So, I mean, it looks pretty good for the friendly team at this moment. But you'd be surprised what an angry clump of ships can do when they do, kind of move in the same general direction together at the same generalish time, even if they don't coordinate it. Alright, here we have another Dunkirk. How many Dunkirks were in this match? We had 2 on the friendly side. This is 2 on the enemy side. This is a pure Dunkirk, though. It's not a filthy Dunkirk B, even though it's the same ship. Bow off in between. Yeah, again, look at that dispersion. It's so bad at times. Dunkirk also does not have the best armor. Like, yeah, you can bow tank a little bit with the front, but my god, the side armor, the belt armor is just so bad. You just have to poke it in the middle and you will get a citadel if you have any decent-ish AP. Alright, so, knocks out one of the Dunkirk's turrets. But the Chumfon's getting some shells in from over the B cap. Like, again, he finds a perfect Dunkirk-sized gap in the Dunkirk shells. So going to go HEN on this Dunkirk. I think he's just going to rush him. He's not really slowing down. If he can potentially knock out that turret again, that'd be pretty cool. Hits the conning tower for a pin. Oh, hi, Leningrad. Starts turning very wisely so, because Leningrad probably has torpedoes out in this general direction. If he doesn't get murdered here by the Akats. Actually, I think they're both going to go down here. Yeah, Dunkirk takes out the Pensacola, Chumphon takes out the Akatsuki, but we do get a trade on the Leningrad for the Akatsuki. So, and that's the biggest thing you got to make sure, guys. If you're going to go down, make sure you're taking somebody with you, because you have, at least if you take someone with you, you've kind of done your job. You've taken a ship out of the enemy team's player, out of the enemy team lineup, as they have taken one out of your team's lineup. Well, there goes the West Virginia 41. That's probably one of the most important things, especially if you're playing something like a destroyer to ensure. Ooh, beautiful shot here on the Chumphon. I bet it's all going to overpin. Yep, but it doesn't matter. He's at low enough HP to where that does secure him his 4th kill of the match. There's some deep water torpedoes. Again, Dunkirk maneuverability. Gotta love it. See, that's the good thing about the Dunkirk is that when you do get up to it, you can simply play it. There's a Minsk. You can simply play it as a very large cruiser at that point. So when you're in those tier 8 games, just pretend you're a French cruiser and you'll be pretty good with your performance. Okay, so he's staying focused on this Dunkirk that he's creeping up on right now. Gets a double fire there from, I'm assuming, the King George. We are 4-4 right now, but the enemy team is without Anne Seavey. Yeah, we're playing Ring Around the Rosie, and that Dunkirk's going to have that Colonel Bolognese broadside here, or angle side. Probably enough to get the AP to pin on him, because angled armor will trigger AP. You increase the effective thickness, give that fuse enough armor to bite into. I didn't one-shot him, which is pretty good. Ryujo swooping in on the Dunkirk. Looks like he whiffed most of his shots, though. Looks like the Colonel gets to live today. Unless the Minksters throw some torpedoes on his side. You gotta love playing Ring Around the Rosie. It doesn't happen enough anymore in World of Warships because everyone's sitting in the back. But it's always a good time. See, we'll have this Dunkirk stern. Ooh, yeah, so the 2 Tier 7 battleships are now coming back after bullying the West Virginia. So that's not something you really want to see in a Tier 6 battleship, especially when it's King George with its British BBHE. I mean, like, it's a French ship, right? So every HE shell is already pinning it, let alone, British BBHE. Yeah, the good Colonel up there is getting a good taste of that firepower. Let's see, I think we're about to witness this man die, and... Oh, nope. Did take most of his health with him, though, but he's probably about to go down. Is he still playing Ring Around the Rosie? Oh, there's a Minsk. Yeah, Sean's 43 takes out the Colonel. Minsk, though, if Dispersion complies, that might be a dead Minsk. Ooh, it is not. Very close, though. I'll please get a close quarters kill here. Get a secondary kill. Get close quarters expert. He should be just on the cusp of getting into his secondary range now. Maybe. There we go. I'll say it should be around 5.5 for tier 6. Oh, beautiful. Close quarters expert and Kraken. What's he going to do here, though? He's got a Scharnhorst and a King George to his left, but he's got this Dunkirk that's still just running away from him. I mean, you got to go after the high tier ships. But the Dunkirk at least has to deal with the Senop when he goes around the corner. You have to deal with a Scharnhorst and a King. Oh, he's just going to keep on chasing him. All right. What is the Senop doing, though? I mean, the setup. This is like the setup's favorite scenario, right? You know, a bunch of ships coming into close range. You should all Dunkirk has decided to switch the turn the tables on him. Oh, he's dead. He's so dead. Beautiful shot. Confederate 3 citadels out of that single salvo, up to 178,000 damage now. All right. So yeah, that's why you don't turn over on an enemy when he's pursuing you. Okay, so let's see. Is the setup going to do anything now, or is he just chilling? Well, managed to kind of throttle juke that. He's got 1 heal left. He went from not using any heal for the first like 10 minutes of the match, and now he's down to his last one. Oof. Okay, so you got a King George, Sean Norris. There's the setup shells. Decent hit on the Sean Norris. That's about another 10k into his numbers so far. Another salvo coming in from the Sean Horse. He should be pretty well angled to bounce most of it. Yeah. The setup is playing like a Des Moines and hugging an island, which is a very interesting choice. I mean, you know, you do have to play the Soviet battleships, you know, angled in, but I mean, man's taking it to a new extreme there. It cleaves 4,000-ish damage off of the superstructure of the Sean Horse 43, popping his last heal. Now, the Sharks can at least take some of the heat off of Battleship 61, you know, at least forcing the Sean Norris and the King George to show him their nose. Then he is really about to feast right here and now. Beautiful side shot on the Sean Norris 43. Gets 6k off it, right? Duo coming down with his bombs. Looks like, unfortunately, did not get any good hits with his dive bombers. All right, Sean Norris 43 is angled out now. If he comes down this corner, he catches the King George broadside. King George could very well be in a world of hurt, because despite having like armor on par with Yamato during World War II in game, the King George is, well, just about as squishy as every other British battleship. Shonar seems to be, Sanap seems to be afraid of getting his paint scratched. He's thrown it into reverse, even though he's only really engaging. Well, no, he is engaging both of them right now. But I mean, the closer you get to the target, the better the guns are. So. Interesting maneuver here from the setup. Granted, again, you're 3v2. You have to play a little safe. Citadel on the Sean Horse for 15k, along with 3 defense ribbons. The 217,000 damage now at this point. Yeah, I know. That was my reaction too. A Citadel on the Sean Horse, that is very rare. I mean, if you do catch a German battleship turning hard over, it can happen. All right, this should be a dead Sean Horse here. God, look at that dispersion. It's beautiful. So bad it's beautiful. There we go. That is his 7th kill of the match, boys and girls. And now we have a King George V. What's he going to do? Sell broadside to him too? I mean, he's got to, again, send up the hero we've been dogging on here for the past couple of minutes. He's got to go bow to the setup to try and angle, or show broadside to him if he chooses to go bow in on the Dunkirk. Granted, they do have setup down pretty low now. I mean, the King George can quite easily finish him off by himself with his quick reloading at 10 14-inch guns with those British BB-HE. So, it's going to get around this island here, which is probably going to only let him get one more shot into this King George. Good dispersion, though. Good pins. 11,000 damage off of the King George. But the King George is healing, and that Sinop does look like he is about to go down. So King George has made it to the island, which the Sharnors did not. So, is he going to pump the brakes and start, and continue burning the Sinop down? That's what I would do if I was that King George. But Battleship 61 is quite angrily walking towards the King George V. Alright, so there goes the Sinop. Oh, the Ryujo is pushing up for whatever reason. Battleship 61 gets a little bit of lag here. Ryujo completely whiffed that shot on the King George. Ooh, King George is turning out. Not sure what's going on with Battleship 61. He was a little bit excited, it does seem. So keep in mind, he has no heal now at this point. So whatever happens, he does it. That's it. He cannot get anything back. Ooh, King George going perfectly broadside. I think he's a little excited here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Oh my god, this is so much flat broadside. I don't know what the King George is doing here. Man is shaking in his seat right now. Shots out. Citadel on the King George. Double Citadel on the King George. 275,000 damage in a tier 6 ship. In a Dunkirk, fellas. in a Dunkirk. A Dunkirk, 8 kills, 275,000 damage, 13 citadels. Man got Confederate, Fireproof, Close Quarters Expert, Dreadnought, Kraken, First Blood, and High Caliber. 3,100 base XP. 3,100. 3,185 base XP in a tier 7 game. That is insane. I can find no other words to describe that besides insane. Absolute insanity. That is an amazing number to pull in a tier 10 game, let alone in a tier 6 ship in a tier 7 game. So that Dunkirk, man, you gotta love it. So is this a world record? So I checked before I recorded this video. The damage record across all servers, I think the highest one is on Asia between the Dunkirk and the Dunkirk B. It's around 248,000 damage. So this is almost 30,000 damage above that. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I can tell, for the games that are at least coming up on the World Warship stat site, this is the world record damage game for the Dunkirk or the Dunkirk B. Both of the ships, he has easily cleared the world damage record for both of those ships, according to the stats site. Now, if you want to be nitpicky, Dunkirk, Dunkirk B, whatever, but it is a world record game, nonetheless, at least from what's coming up on the stats site. I think you have to have at least, 7,500 games in the ship for it to show up on the leaderboards, so his doesn't just yet. I'm assuming he picked this up on Black Friday and proceeded to do this with it, which is beautiful, right? But Dunkirk, gotta love it. It's one of my favorite ships in the game. It's not usually considered to be a good ship, but I mean, hey, it can put in the work. It can make it work. I mean, he did definitely get lucky with a lot of the broadsides he came up into, but I mean, yeah, he put in the work there. You'd be surprised how many players couldn't make this happen, even with all the broadsides that he did have presented to him. So 8 kills, 275,000 damage, 3,000 base XP. What a wonderful match, Battleship 61. Thank you so much for sending it in to the channel. If you have a replay like this, especially if it's a world record game, please make sure to send it into the email linked in the description down below, or you can also post it in the replay posting channel on the community Discord, which is also linked in the description down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.